Well, you could say, yeah. I think I always thought of myself as a solo artist. I mean, I never wanted to be a solo artist either. You know, that was the drag. I mean, the big drag. When I put up my first record, it was done so quickly, and I got signed. Like, I hadn't played the songs, or it was just I got signed based on this demo tape, and next thing I know, I'm making a record, and then I got to call it something, you know. And I mean, I could think up a name for the band or whatever, you know, and that's what I wanted to do, and I just couldn't think of anything that fit, you know. And so at the last second, I was like, I'll just call it Brendan Benson. And it happened before, during, and after. Really, I mean, this record is like a kind of a compilation of songs, rather than, I think, you know, a real cohesive body of work, you know. Whereas my other records didn't span such a huge, you know, this record kind of, there's songs that are, you know, 7 years old, some maybe not 7, but old, you know, that I wrote on my last tour, solo tour, and then songs I wrote during the Wreckin' tours and then after. So it's kind of strange in that way, that it's, you know, it's more like a kind of a I don't know, a chronology of, you know, I don't know, what do you call that? You know, well, it just spans a while. I don't know. Yeah, it does. I mean, you know, the worst. I mean, you know, it's not the ideal situation, and the worst thing about it is, you end up, by the time your record comes out, the songs are so old. You know, I mean, old in your mind. I mean, you know. I mean, a year is old to me, you know, and then you go on tour and to support this record, and you know, sometimes it's tough to muster up the energy to play the songs. I mean, you want to move on. I mean, I think, you know, just naturally you want to, as an artist, you just want to move on, and so it kind of goes against your nature in a way, you know. So yeah, I mean, ideally, you know, you write a song and you put it out, you know, like, I mean, the Wreckin' tours, we did it, and it was great because we went on the road and the songs were still fresh. We barely even knew them, you know what I mean? They were still that new to us, and that was great. That was really cool. Yeah, I just couldn't bear the thought of going back into my room, you know. I mean, my previous records I've done myself, you know, written them, performed them, recorded them, you know, produced them, and you know, and then having, I mean, it's a combination of, I think, just getting older and being tired of doing that. I'm just literally, I mean, just tired, you know, running. I mean, it involves like running up and down stairs sometimes, you know, setting up an amp, running up, you know, checking the mic, you know, running back down to adjust and then playing in the Wreckin' tours was, you know, another. You know, it's just so easy once you have a band. It's so great and so easy ideas can come to fruition really quickly. You can, you know, you can work through you can work up a song really fast. You know, whereas me on my own, I think I have it right. I think I have the tempo right, the key, yeah, everything. It seems to be fine, and then in the end, just to discover like, oh, it's in the wrong key. Damn, you know, I got to do it all over again. It's not like I can. I don't know, just things like that. Just like sort of logistical, silly like details, you know. Yeah, I found these guys, Rollum and Roger, who are the rhythm section for a band from Nashville called the Features, and I just I saw them play. I just was out and I saw them play, but I like Rollum and Roger. I love them. Like I really like their I don't know, the way they work together, and Rollum's a really interesting drummer. He's, you know, it's not very he's not very traditional, and he's also young, and I think like really stoked to be playing drums, you know. So I asked them, and they agreed to do it, and then I called up my friend Andrew, who had played on a Greenhorns record, played piano on a Greenhorns record, and I'd never met Andrew. I just heard what he had done on the record and thought it was great. And so he came down from Cincinnati and did all the keys on the record. He's brilliant. He's great. And he's since moved to Nashville. Everyone who comes stays. I think I learned to, and it's probably not evident on this record, because Gil was a big influence on this record. But what I learned from the Raconteurs is, I guess the value in, or the value in when you writing a song, when you're recording a song, to not put things in the song that you can't recreate live. Because I'll do it all day. I mean, that's what I love to do, is just play with songs in the studio. But and then I go on tour, and it's like impossible to recreate. So, and with the Raconteurs, it was simple. The songs were, very simple, and it was just two guitars, usually, a keyboard, and bass and drums, and that's a lot of fun when you can hear the song, in its whole, instead of thinking, oh, I'm really missing that little synth line that, or whatever, or the strings that, you can have like 1 million people on stage or something.